comeback player of the year when nobody thought he could come back, seemingly Alex Smith himself. The feel-good story of coming back, starting, getting your team to the playoffs, having to miss the game, and then seeing Tom Brady eventually vanquish you on the way to winning the Super Bowl. A story that nobody thought would be authored. But there was a story authored yesterday in GQ magazine, and here's the headline. Alex Smith on his comeback. I never thought it would happen, which is interesting because apparently neither did his employer, the Washington football team. This is a great piece in GQ magazine that you can check out online right now. As Key said when I bailed on the boxing, I was looking at it right now. It's by Clay Skipper, and you can find it. Just put it into Google. Here's the money quote from the piece, guys. And this is interesting. We were all talking about this yesterday, and I had a viscerally different reaction than you guys did, and I don't think that's in any small part because you guys played the game and understand what this means. But this is Alex Smith to GQ as part of this article. Quote, when I decided to come back, I definitely threw a wrench in the team's plan, Smith told GQ magazine. They didn't see it, didn't want me there, didn't want me to be a part of it, didn't want me to be on the team, the roster, didn't want to give me a chance. That's some honesty from a guy who usually has played it pretty straight and down the middle his entire career. And I'll be honest with you, even though he had an amazing comeback, I would take nothing away from what he did, a Herculean effort to come back. It dampens a little bit for me, knowing that the team wasn't as in on him as he was on himself.
Well,
really? Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it from a fan's perspective.
And as I said, you guys totally see it. Yeah.
And I would look at it more so as somebody that's in the building on a daily basis, given the injury and people recovering from certain injuries that's, career threatening. I mean, think about it, conversations of amputation, infections, things of that nature. And so when you look at the Washington football team as an organization, there was no hope for Alex Smith to return back to form and play football. The only hope was for him to return back to health and be able to walk and maybe play with his kids, and that's it. So him coming back and saying, okay, I'm rehabbing, I'm feeling well, despite what the doctors and the medical people were telling them in the organization, you're not going to believe that because you saw it with your own eyes. I mean, think about it.
Yeah,
Joe Theismann decided, even though medicine was different when Joe played versus Alex, he decided, that's enough. Nobody really will try to come back from that type of injury. Yeah. And very few, I'm sure, have come back from that type of injury just to walk. And now he's playing football. So, yes, you got to put your plans in store, Jay, to move forward, to try to continue to find quarterbacks to take his place. But good for him that he was able to do it.
Look, I get it from his perspective. You always want to stay motivated. You want to prove that you can be there. You can still play the game at a high level. But I don't think people internally at the Washington football team were rooting against Alex Smith. I think people were just extremely hesitant as hell because they don't want anything catastrophic to happen to Alex Smith in the rest of his life. Key, you said a career-threatening injury. That's almost a life-threatening injury.
That too.
2 years, Zubin. Yeah. 17 surgeries. 17. And like he said, talks of a leg amputation. Yeah, I'm worried about you. If somebody hits you at the leg the wrong way at a different angle, or you're in a pile and somebody, hits you with the elbow, so that can affect your life. Just not on the field, your life. Yes, I think there should be extreme concern. So I get what Alex Smith is saying, but this is also business at the end of the day, and Ron Rivera and company have to do what's in the best interest of the business of the Washington football team.
And you certainly don't want something like that on your watch when you're an organization as a head coach or general managers, people that make these decisions. You're like, hold on, just sit tight, let's get healthy first. And I'm sure as he was making the progress to coming back, they started to look at it and go, this dude might actually really play football again. Mm-hmm. But we've already drafted Dwayne Haskins, and we've already traded for this player, re-signed that player. What do? He's on our books. Well, let's see what happens. And they work him out. He goes through training camp. He goes through stuff. And they sit there and they go, well, he may be able to play. What do you think? I don't know. You see him throw the ball? Man, he looks good. And that conversation continues to keep happening, even though you try to play Kyle Allen and you tried to play Dwayne Haskins while he sat there and said, I'm going to wait my turn, and then he goes 5-1 for the Washington football team, and they backdoor into the playoffs, although they drew the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they really didn't have a fighting chance.
Right. They also had Taylor Heineke in that game. He did say...
I forgot about Heineke.
Right? He said he thought he was going to hit the wall before he actually made it back. To Key's point, when you're looking at him, this is Alex Smith also in the piece, which I encourage you to check out. Quote, "It was really scary when I finally got the clearance right before camp from all the doctors. I got this big round of imaging done, and all the doctors, all the military doctors, all my doctors here in D.C. were like, you're good to go. I never thought I'd hear those words. They were like, if you want to play football again, you can do it." Even he was stunned to hear those words, and nobody was more.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.